What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel and you're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. Today we're checking out the Kizer Phoenix, right? This EDC knife right here from Kizer. This one is a little bit more on the premium end of things. We're gonna get into that, talking about price, materials, and all that good stuff. I did get this knife via the Lefty EDC knife pass around, so shout out to Lefty EDC, aka Kevin, and I've had a chance to EDC this knife for about a little bit over a week or so. I have been under the weather since New Year's festivities, and so and I'm not sure if you guys can really tell on my voice, but I'm just about getting ready to send this forward to the next person in the pass around, and I've just been having a good time with this knife, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about it. Of course, keep in mind there'll be affiliate links for this knife and any other knife you see in the channel down below in the description. Of course, it does help out the channel when you use those links before you make any purchases, but that is entirely up to you. Let's go ahead and get things started then with the typical measurement here. Let's see, this guy comes in at around 8.5 inches overall length, so we're dealing obviously with a large knife. We have the blade and also cutting edge coming in at around 3.5 inches. The handle, right, is going to be a little bit longer, about 5 inches overall length right there. So those are your measurements. Let's get some size comparisons here very quickly. I have been EDCing this guy as well as two other Kizer knives. Here is the Kizer Doberman. Right, the review on this guy is very likely already published here on the channel. And here is the Kizer Huntsmen, another killer EDC knife that I'm getting ready to record the review video right after this one. So chances are, if you're seeing this in the very future, right, the review for all these knives are available. Let's do some of the typical ones here, shall we? Let's do the PM2, right, from Spyderco, and believe it or not, this guy is a tad bit longer than the PM2, definitely larger than the Para 3 for sure. What about the Demko AD 20.5 and the shark's foot blade? All right, take a look there. Here is the Kizer Shark Cub, and yes, indeed, it is going to be larger than both of those. Definitely in the large knife category, right, without a shadow of a doubt. Perhaps closer to the Rat Model 1, which is already, we know that to be a large knife. And it is, of course, going to be larger than the Rat Model 2. So it is, you know, the butt end here is longer than the Rat 1. You even have a little bit longer cutting edge as well, okay? And last but not least, we'll check out two really good budget offerings here. Of course, we're talking about the CJRB Pyrite Alt. This one, the Warncliffe blade, button lock, and this one is the crossbar lock Vosteed Raccoon. Great recommendable budget EDC knives, and yes, probably the Raccoon, you know, comes closer, but still shorter than the Phoenix by about 1/2 inch or so, right? So there you have it, some quick size comparisons just to give you a ballpark. What sort of materials are we dealing with here? We have aluminum bolsters, right? At first I thought it was titanium, but these are aluminum, and you do have what they call fat carbon fiber here, and this one has orange accents on it. Kind of goes with the whole Phoenix aesthetics to this knife. The whole idea here is that they are basing it around, you know, Phoenix inspired, rising from the ashes. So if you think of, you know, sort of ashes with a little bit of hint of fire in there, that's kind of what you have going on here with this. Orange dark matter, I think is what Kizer calls it, you know. So that's pretty interesting, very nice. We have a Matthew Hawley design. I believe he's the designer on this one. Haven't really gotten a chance to see much of his work, but this one is a very unique and interesting one indeed. As far as the blade, of course, we have S35 VN, which is a premium steel, of course. This one is black wash, black stone wash, and S35 VN is pretty corrosion resistant, so the black wash is more for aesthetic purposes. You do have the Kizer logo on one side, and you have the Phoenix, not only the Phoenix bird, but also Phoenix name on there. So a little bit of billboarding going on here, if you ask me, when you combine all four pieces there. But other than that, Persian clip point, I believe, is the actual correct geometry for this one, right? Will be a clip point, but it trails up a bit. So again, it gives you those Persian vibes. And the pocket clip is 3D printed from what I understand, or 3D mill. How about that? Whatever that is. And it is titanium, right? So titanium on the pocket clip indeed. We have other than that, as far as the action, how's the action on this bad boy? So we have a flipper deployment, feels good. I want to say the D10 on this one is a little bit softer than it was on the Doberman. The Doberman, you require a little bit more pressure and enthusiasm to fire it. This one is a little bit more deliberately soft. It's not ultra soft. Let me see. Yeah, you can certainly feel it if you didn't put enough effort, but for the most part, you know, it just allows for a less painful experience, if you will. So as long as you put a decent amount of effort there, you'll get it to fire up. It really comes down to your personal taste. Some people like a softer D10, some people like a really strong D10. I'm fine either way. I find a happy medium, so this one is not too bad. Anytime I flip it, of course, right, if you light switch it, yeah, it's gonna be able to fire every time. You got thumb deployment going on here, and the reverse flick, boom, yeah, that works really well also with the middle finger. Boom, right there. So liner lock going on here. That's not bad at all. And you have what seems to be another piece of aluminum. Right? I'm not sure that this backspacer is titanium. I think for the price point, since the bolsters are aluminum, the backspacer is probably aluminum as well. So yeah, very good knife here. Kizer does a really good job, from what I understand, in the $150 to $200 category, right? They offer premium materials or steels in this price point, and this one is not bad at all. Let's do a quick carry profile on this bad boy. So looking at it here, what's it feel like in the pocket? Well, first of all, the thickness is going to be, let's see, a little bit thicker. If I can get the camera to focus, there we go. A little bit thicker than the Para 3, right? Obviously thicker than the Demko AD 20.5. How does it compare to the Route Model 1? Probably about the same as the Route Model 1. And Raccoon here with the mic-card scales. Yeah, very comparable, right? And folded in the pocket, right? Length and height here against the Spyderco's. Obviously, it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a slimmer design. The only one part that takes probably the most room is the butt end, right? That definitely has a trailing, bigger butt end, right? If anything, so that actually helps with the ergonomics. I'll talk about that in a second. So there it is next to the Demko's AD 20.5 and Shark Cub and Route 1 and 2, Pyrite and Raccoon. Bam. All right. So ergonomically speaking, we have great ergonomics on this bad boy here. The flipper does work as sort of like a finger guard here, so I wouldn't necessarily forward choke on this one unless you're very, very careful and always mindful of where the edge corner tip is. But yeah, the finger flipper there does work as a finger guard. And I have medium to large hands, and to be honest with you, right, it feels really comfortable in the hand. The pocket clip feels really good too. I almost forget that pocket clip is even there. And again, this butt end here, I much rather prefer like a bigger butt end on a knife rather than like a narrow butt end, right? It kind of helps with the ergonomics department very, very well. We have some jimping going on in the back of the spine of the blade there, which helps for that additional pressure from your thumb. You can go to town on this bad boy. You have a flat grind here, so you know it's going to be a slicer. And you have a little bit of belly too, so if you need to do any slicing on a piece of wood or what have you, right, you can do that with this bad boy as well. So yeah, ergonomically pretty good. You have a nice indentation here for the thumb stud access on both sides, which is not bad at all, right? Allows for a quick access to that thumb stud, and the same thing going on the other side as well. So that feels really good and natural. And as far as being reversible, let me see. If I were to put this on the other side, it would look sort of weird. And I don't think it comes with an additional pocket clip. So even though it is a one screw type of pocket clip, it doesn't necessarily translate to being on the other side because of, you know, the actual design line that it has right here kind of goes along with the actual design on the handle as well. So not reversible there from what I see. All right, the back spacer is really nice. And yeah, no lanyard hole on this one. I'm sure the 3 or 4 people that are into lanyard holes are going to be upset. But I'm glad they didn't. I'm personally not a lanyard hole type of person. And honestly, I don't mind it at all. It makes it for a nice clean design all throughout. All right, very nice in a line right there. Let's actually get a, let's see, probably get a better view like this. Boom, right on the money. Right, that blade is going to be very, very thin as well. The Doberman was 0.12, and so this one is 0.12 as well, or 0.13. There we go, somewhere in there, right? My caliper is, yeah, 0.13. That's not bad at all. And is there any milling going on this one? Yes, those steel liners do have quite a bit of milling going on. You can see it right there on both sides, as a matter of fact. And so it makes for a, you know, not so heavy knife. I feel like there's a good amount of weight to it, not the heaviest, not the lightest, and of course the carbon fiber helps with that weight department. So the actual weight comes in at 4.3 ounces, right? 4.3 ounces for reference. The Doberman was a little bit heavier, or 4.5 ounces, and the Huntsman comes in at 5.3, right? Moral of the story here, always wait for the scale to finalize, because yeah, it definitely takes like a split second. But 5.3 ounces on the Huntsman, and this one is the lightest of the 3 at 4.2 ounces. So really, really good weight to it for EDC purposes. Let's of course do a hardware check on this bad boy here, and I have good news. From what I saw, I think it's TA all around. By the way, my tools are highly recommendable and linked down below in the description. And let's see, so body screws, yes, TA all around on the body screws. That's great, and you kind of expect that at this price point. Again, around 179. You can run that up to $80, 180, right? The only place I see T6, and it's sort of understandable, is on the thumb studs. But if I'm not mistaken, thumb studs on the Doberman were TA. So why couldn't they do, I mean, I think overall they're using a smaller thumb stud, right? If you put them side by side, the thumb studs on the Phoenix are a little bit smaller than the ones on the Doberman. So that's why it's T6 here instead of T8 there. So interesting, but pretty much TA all around with that one T6 and the thumb stud. But yeah, that is not bad at all, right? Meats and potatoes time, right? So again, anything that I haven't already mentioned, this thing looks pretty good for the price. I think you really have to be into Persian style blades. Like if that is your cup of tea, I feel like this knife is going to be right up your alley indeed. Drop shut action feels really good. It's a little bit of a shaker shut. The blade doesn't have enough weight to drop on its own, but if you shake it enough, right, it drops very well there. I kind of wish that they had done a little bit different carbon fiber materials. It would have helped sell it a little bit better if there were different combinations of this fat carbon fiber, dark matter looking thing. I get that they were trying to go with the ashes aesthetics, you know, like ashes with a hint of fire here and there. But hey, you know, offering different fat carbon options for folks who don't necessarily like this color, maybe wanted a hint of green, a hint of blue, that would have been very interesting. The fit and finish, as far as where the carbon fiber ends and the aluminum begins, feels pretty good. Yeah, definitely very well aligned there. That feels nice. The aluminum piece, man, at first I thought that was titanium, but then I obviously looked up the specs and found out it was aluminum. Would have been nice if that was titanium right there. Again, it is a $180 knife. But honestly though, as a premium knife, if this is the type of geometry that you like, I feel like you are not going to be disappointed. It is certainly a performer. So as a matter of fact, let's get a piece of paper out here. Let's do a quick few cuts, shall we? All right, so definitely can get some swirls going on here. Whoops, there we go. All right, you are working with a belly on this one, all right? So just keep that in mind. Just roll that belly all the way through. And yes, it's on top paper, no issues. Let me get a feel for. All right, that edge feels nice and sharp. And keep in mind, it's not brand new sharp out of the box. It has certainly seen some use. Probably use a nice strap right about now. But it can still cut some paper as long as it doesn't catch anywhere. And yeah, we know you can do paper. What about some cardboard? Remember, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular like this, but rather at an angle, and it will look something like this. All right, we know it can do the business here. Again, flat grind, very slicey. We know it's going to perform. There's also sort of like a fuller, right, with a little bit of a teardrop shape to it, if I hadn't already mentioned that. So that could probably be just about the only thing that could maybe deter away from the cutting performance. But other than that, it is a slicer, right? It is going to cut, it is going to slice. Absolutely no doubt about that. So you guys rate it in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10, right? How did it cut? How much of an edge it has retained? Well, there you have it, guys. That is the Kizer Phoenix, right? I highly recommend this knife. It's certainly a performer. Has some really nice premium materials to it. S35VN is a really good steel. Corrosion resistant. This one has the Phoenix sort of theme going on, rising from the ashes. If that's something that calls out to you, by all means, definitely got to check this one out. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Persians, so this wouldn't by default be the design that I will go for right off the bat in my typical EDC knife hunt, but that's not to say that this might not be something that you personally like. So as far as the performance goes, the materials, the execution, it is highly recommendable, and again, it will be linked down below in the description, just as any other knife in this video, if you want to learn more. But yeah, you guys let me know if I missed anything during the review, what other questions, concerns you want to know about this knife. Let's hang out in the comments. Let's talk everything Kizer Phoenix, or any other Kizer for that matter. Keep in mind the review for the Doberman is already out. I'll put a card for that video here towards the end, and also the Huntsman is coming up as well. I'm recording it here right after this video as well before I send these forward. Shout out to Lefty EDC for his knife pass around. Super grateful to all of you guys for checking out this video. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit subscribe, because I make knife content like this on an ongoing basis, and you definitely wouldn't want to miss out. If you want to support the channel a step further, there's a link down there for Patreon, or you can even become a member right here on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for all your support. Love you all. Take good care, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.